Hello, welcome to Record Time. Record Time is a weekly Akashic experience where we explore simple and mysterious themes through the lens of the Akashic Records. My name is Mina, and I'm so happy to be here with you. Yeah, this is a delight. This feels like a treat. I'm excited to play with the message that's coming through. It feels like it's there kind of in pieces. It hasn't fully coalesced. So we're just going to see what happens. So as I tune into the records, feel free to take a moment to arrive. If it's safe and accessible, you can close your eyes. Perhaps indulge in a deep breath. If you need to make any adjustments to the way you are positioned, you can do that too. So today, the records are sharing. Working harder is not always the most aligned solution. Working harder is not always the most aligned solution. And it could be that you're hearing that and it's like, well, duh. This is not, groundbreaking, information that's coming through. However, it is worth contemplating this and intentionally pulling in this perspective from time to time, checking in with it, really, not just forcing it upon yourself, forcing yourself to be in a state of ease and, whatever. Forcing ease is not really that different than working really hard. So intentionally pulling in this idea and checking in with it, it's like, is this relevant to me at this time? And I want to acknowledge that there are certainly times where hard work is in alignment, right? It is necessary sometimes to put forth effort and energy and put your vitality into something, to channel your vitality into something. And other times, it's not actually super necessary to pour too much of your effort, your energy into an endeavor. And with this perspective, it's almost like an invitation to, when you're starting something or when you're at a checkpoint in a project or a task or something, to just periodically check in at the beginning, maybe a few times in the middle, at the end, especially towards the end. I feel like I have flashbacks, horrifying flashbacks to crunch time on projects that were truly horrible times. So, right. So it's pulling in this perspective at different points in whatever it is you want to apply this perspective to, whether it's your life in general, whether it's a specific task you're doing, a project, an area of your life, pulling it in at different times intentionally, almost folding it in to be part of the process itself. When I start a project, part of the process is checking in with this idea. Is working hard in alignment right now, or is it not? And this, again, I want to repeat, this is not dismissing hard work as never being something that's relevant and worthy of our time and effort. I really value hard work. And it's really easy to just set hard work as our default way of approaching everything in our life. And I don't think that that's necessarily always the healthiest and most like fruitful way to do things, depending on what your intentions are. But for me, it's something that I do have to intentionally remind myself to check in with, like, does this moment, and you can even bring it down to like a really small scale, does this moment require hard work from me or not? And it's just something to play with. Right? It's a way to kind of check in with what your default is, right? Is your default to work super hard at everything? And if it is, this is a great way to just kind of like soften your natural tendency to approach things with vigor and tenacity, which is beautiful, but it's not always required. It's not always supportive, actually. And it's also a good way to kind of balance what could almost be like this ungrounded, kind of like dreamy, detached version of reality that I feel like sometimes people are tapping into, of like, I never want to work hard ever at anything. It's like, maybe that works for them. I don't know. But there are certainly things in my life that require intentional energy and effort. And it feels like some people are allergic to the phrase hard work. So they're like, I don't want anything to be hard. I don't want anything to feel like work. But I feel like in reality, there are times that call for hard work. And maybe, we, like, if it feels better to you, you can give that a different name or a different phrase. But I think there's value sometimes in just seeing it clearly for what it is, like today, like in this moment, perhaps, whatever, when you're engaging with a task, to not be afraid of hard work when it does feel relevant. And that's something my grandma used to say, actually, is don't be afraid of hard work. And so by pulling in this phrase, this idea of working hard is not always the most aligned solution, we're not dismissing it completely, right? We're not unwilling to work hard when life comes to meet us and when that is really what's being asked of us. But we're also not just setting our default way of approaching life to be at hard work, right? Just pushing as hard as we can all the time, because neither of those are conducive to consistent alignment. And at least this is only coming from my experience. Alignment sometimes requires hard work, but it doesn't always require hard work. And I think that there's a misperception, this idea in like, I don't even know what to call it, but there's this idea that kind of permeates our culture and permeates social media. That's like, if you're working hard, then you're not in alignment. And I would invite you to question that, because there have been times when I've been in deep alignment and the task at hand requires effort. And so it's just an invitation to consider, can alignment look different day to day? Are you leaving space for alignment to carry a whole spectrum of experience for you? Or are you trying to force alignment to fit into one very specific style of experience for you? Are you limiting it out of fear of hard work? Or are you missing out on some of the like ease, that relaxation, and the ease that alignment can offer us sometimes in certain phases and in certain moments? Are you missing out on that because your default is hard work? And you're actually missing out on the moment where hard work isn't actually required right now. You can like take your foot off the gas a little bit. So again, this is kind of just allowing yourself to be It's almost like be rooted the way like a piece of kelp in the ocean is rooted, right? It's like planted pretty firmly in the ground, but it's like tall and it's waving and it's able to move with the current. So it's like it's not completely floating away to one side, it's not completely floating away to the other side. It's able to kind of move and adjust and float between the spectrum, right? Depending on which way the water is flowing. So it's like, can you be rooted the way a piece of kelp is rooted in the center of the possibility that hard work might be required sometimes, and it's also not always required in every moment of our lives. So again, this is just an invitation to check in with whatever you're doing, whether you're starting a project, ending a project, in the middle of a big endeavor. Wherever you're at in your process, take a moment to check in with this. Is hard work in alignment right now, or is it not? Okay, I'm going to leave you with that for today. I hope that that made sense. If you have any questions or if this inspired an insight or an idea for you, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to send me a message either on Instagram or through my website. Or if you're one of my friends who receives my newsletter, feel free to reply to my newsletter. I'd love to hear from you. All right, I'm sending you lots of love and strength, and I'm wishing you well until next time. Namaste.